All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we are about 2 weeks out from our first Powerlifting America meet. All right, so we have opener this week for squat and for deadlifts. Bench, we might push a little bit more depending on how my body's feeling. And then we're gonna for sure push the secondaries, for deadlift and for bench. And then we'll go from there. So we have squat, sputo, and pop beds. So we're gonna push those as much as we can and then go from there. So squat shouldn't be too bad. All right, so going into this week, I feel pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. My lower body is definitely a little more banged up than I thought it would be. Specifically in my knees, which has been pretty weird. I've never really had knee issues. I do think a lot of it is coming from my hips. So I think as soon as that begins to kind of calm down, it should be good. But again, 2 weeks to kind of recover with very low stimulus and not really dying more than anything else, just recovering, Epsom salt back maxing and everything. So it should be good. But want to get through the session first and then we'll go from there. But I'm excited. This is gonna be fun. The owner's excited. Everyone here has been pretty excited, so it'll be a good day. Let this whole prep be a learning lesson for everyone. It doesn't matter what you hit in training. All that matters is that you show up on meet day. You can have the worst prep and have a good meet. You can have the best prep and have a terrible meet. Anything can happen on meet day. So keep pushing forward. Don't stop until the last attempt. The best part about putting on stiff sleeves is the fact that that freaking bottom snap. Oh. Alright, wrist straps. I've been doing a little bit of wrist pain since right before Ultranats. So trying to kind of figure out how I'm like mitigating that pain has been a pain in the butt, to say the least. But I'm worried about it. I'm not worried about it. As soon as I put my wrist straps on, I'm pretty much fine. Which is weird because it doesn't really affect me on bench, only on squat. But better than other types of pain. So. You know you're at that point of peak where even your warm-ups feel like absolutely god-awful. Because 451, I can move easily, and it just feels heavy on my back. Which, for me, is a good sign, because this next set is definitely going to move terribly. And I know people are like, well, shouldn't your opener move fast? Yes, but 507 has been always religiously been my opener for the last like 5 meets. So it's a number I can hit every single meet. It's just, I'm at a point where my fatigue's very, very high and I'm not pushing any further than my opener today. So it's really just gonna be a matter of hit this, move on, and then push forward from there. So we're on track. It may not seem like it, but we are. Man, I tell you that 507 felt heavy. It felt heavy, like heavier than 551 did last week. So fatigue's much higher than we anticipated. And plus having like attempted to pull 639 on Friday going into this session is definitely a pain, but that's the name of the game. It's always been that way. Like I don't think I've ever had a prep where my opener day feels good. It never feels good. I mean, last prep, I literally, I pooped my pants. If that gives you any indication. But then when I opened with 507 every time, it moved that RP 5 or less. So it's just the way it goes. As far as like practice is concerned with squat, I'm a proficient squatter. I've been squatting for years, so I don't really end up losing the skill getting to a meet. So I'm not worried. We just got to keep pushing. So we can do the back downs, keep fitness high, and then go from there. So we're good. Everything's fine. It is what it is. I'm not mad about it. And then it's funny, you're gonna say on meet day, it's something completely different. So I'm excited. Should be. All right, so we are on Tuesday. So we have secondary bench, and then we're moving secondary deadlift to today as well. So that way we can really prioritize the secondary work. Goal right now is to kind of see where things are lining up, how my pec is feeling, how my legs are feeling going into the session. I'm definitely a little more sore than I thought I would be, which historically speaking is very normal for most of my preps. So this should be a pretty good session. Gonna probably push towards maybe 352 for a 3-count pause, but if it's not there, then not that big of a deal. So last big push, and then we have bench on Thursday. So should be fun. Let's get to this. Yes, I'm bald. Remember, never do 100 lunges before you do a bench session. Lesson learned. So normally most people would wait until they're heavier sets to like chalk up their back, but lately the benches have been a little more slippery than I would like. So having to chalk my back a little bit earlier allows me to get the repetitiveness of like, okay, this is what my back's gonna feel like when I'm getting heavy and heavier into my top set. So replicating the same environment you possibly can on meet day is probably the most important, especially if you have access to a powerlifting gym that allows stuff like that, right? If you go to a commercial gym, you're restricted to the benches that you're using, which is totally fine, right? A good way of like getting around that is closet liner when you're benching if you're at a commercial gym. So keep that in mind, so that way you can create a stickier surface for you to really plant your upper back and your neck into the bar, or into the bench, I'm sorry. So on to the next set. So fucking sick. Oh, I can't spend money right now. I got rent tomorrow. Damn you, Avancus. Alright, definitely felt pretty good. 330 moved a lot better than 308. So another 10 kilo jump, 352, make it move, make it fly. Nice and easy practice work. Getting used to keep it on my chest and keep the momentum consistent. So feel good. We keep running it, we keep pushing. Bench always shows up at the very end, which is really nice. But yeah, no more talk. Just gonna run it now. Like I never fucking left. Like I never fucking left. I ain't back, boys. I never fucking left. Fuck. All right, so that was 352 for a long pause. Wasn't exactly 3 count, but that's totally fine. The whole point is to get more used to having the bar on my chest for a longer period of time to be prepared for, but also maintaining as much tension as you can at the very bottom, which is a really, really good hyper-specific movement for prep, which I think almost every powerlifter should have in their training, just so you're able to get more comfortable with holding it on your chest for that long. But that was good. I'm happy with that. It was a little slower than I would have wanted to, but I am also coming on the slow like turnaround, so it's all good. We go to pause deads now. All right, so as you probably noticed, I shot the intro 2 days after I recorded, or after, yeah. I'm a little behind. I'm all over the place with this video. It's the last week of prep. I have prep brain. But yeah, we have already completed our first squat day, which was just our opener. It was fine. Traditionally speaking, I usually have a really bad opener for squat in training, and then on meet day, it ends up becoming RP5. So I'm not really worried. And then 3-count bench. Again, I wanted to push the secondaries this week more than I wanted to push the primaries. So we went up to a 352-pound long pause double, which was 352, which is what we did before Nat's last prep. And that moved really well, felt really good. I just need to kind of push my tricep just a little bit more training into the meet, and we should be okay. That's usually where I kind of lose a lot of my power, is from here to here is just my arms go a little numb when it gets heavy like that. So I just have to be ready to just be very patient and just keep pushing, right? And then for deadlift, so deadlift's been very interesting all prep, especially transitioning from a deadlift bar to a stiff bar, but also my CNS was a lot more fried than I thought it'd be. So it ramping up the way that it did and being able to pull the way I did, I was like, oh, we're good, right? Or actually, not we're good, but we're feeling better, I should say. So we basically did ascending sets on deadlift, working all the way up to 530, right? I don't think I've ever pulled 530 for a double off the top of my head. I don't think so. I might have in the past. I don't know. I don't keep track of that shit. Although I probably should. But 530 moved really well. I played, which is really smart to do, is to play with your technique 2 weeks before your competition. But just as the sake of demonstrating, I have a dumbbell here. Traditionally, whenever I'm placing my hook grip, I usually will stamp both my index finger and my middle finger whenever I'm, placing my hook grip, right? What I did this time, which was a little bit different, is as I went in, I stamped my middle finger first, and then I kind of followed it up with my index finger, right? So it's mostly my middle finger that's stamping into the thumb, and my index is kind of supporting it a little bit. And it caused a little more of a bar roll than I'm used to, so I kind of have to play with it tomorrow for my opener. But it felt a lot more secure in that I felt more control over the bar. So that feels promising to me. I felt a lot better on the wedge too. My coach isn't really too fond of me having such a strong pull into my deadlift, which can be a little bit difficult for me to kind of separate the two and really trust my legs, even though I typically will drive with my legs for the most part. But being able to kind of pull into position is usually what I will do because it serves as my anchor point, but it is what it is. We'll figure it out. But 551 tomorrow should be pretty easy. Today we'll do our opener for bench. Normally I will push bench all the way through prep, and usually 2 weeks out as well, I'll push my heaviest bench, but I don't really feel the need to, especially because my body is still recovering from the meet. So I have to play things very differently going into this one. So the plan is pull it back early, let my body recover for the next 2 weeks, basically, because the intensity is a lot lower, and see what's their meet day, right? And that's the thing with a lot of people, is that you're not always going to open with the same opener every single time. You're not going to have the same pacing every single time. You're not going to have the same prep every single time. You have to play as smart as you can to give yourself the best chance to have the best meet. So, yeah, everything's looking good so far. I feel okay. I'm going to get worked on Friday. So, shout out to my sister. And then we'll go from there. So, I'm going to eat breakfast in a bit and then train my client, and then we'll head out to training. So, see you guys at the gym. All right, so we are at the gym, and we got bench today. I was deciding whether or not we were going to go with pushing bench a little bit more. We're going to go with the opener. I think we're just going to go with our opener today. We 341. Pretty easy for the most part. My body definitely feels a lot more banged up than I thought, so I want to make sure we play it safe, right? And that's something I'll probably touch on in a final thoughts video, as far as going from one prep to another, which is a lesson that a lot of powerlifters need to understand if they're trying to do something similar. I don't care how old you are, I don't care how new you are to the game or how much you've been in the game, there is always a cost to competing back to back to back, right? So you have to set realistic expectations and have a game plan as to how you're going to recover from meet to meet. So let's get into this bench session. Should be fun. Should be pretty straightforward. So let's run it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank fucking Christ. I thought we really were gonna have to go through with the plan. The plan was if I failed, we were just gonna load 402 and then let me die here.
That felt heavy.
All right, so I did not end up recording anything for the deadlift day, unfortunately. It was just my opener, but it was a very difficult 24 to 48 hours. And I guess this is just a really good opportunity for me to touch on a topic that means a lot to me, considering this is something that I've struggled through for so many years. And a lot of it has to come down to taking care of your mental health. And I'm not one of those people who just like talks about mental health constantly as a means of like either easy content or just someone who uses it as a crutch or tells people like it's okay to use it as a crutch. It's more so a matter of it's okay to not be okay, but it is not okay to allow yourself to stay in that position for very long. You have to take a moment to be able to process what you're feeling, right? And even if it's depression or something, sometimes even deeper, you have to find the root as fast as you can. And you have to find a way to climb out of it one step at a time. And the other thing that people will oftentimes forget is that you cannot do it alone. As much as you think that you have to do it alone, you cannot. And this was one of the first times where I found myself in a position where I could feel myself sinking. And for whatever reason, I don't typically reach out to them for this, but my coach, in dire situations, I will call him or ask to call him. Not that he isn't someone who's very reliable. He's one of the most reliable people I've ever met, but I don't want to put that on him because he's my coach and I know he is my friend and like my big brother, but still, I don't want to put that on him. But he's the only person I know outside of my girlfriend who could ground me the way that he does. And it walked me through it and I had other people in my circle who, you know, basically grabbed me and said, you need to pull it together so that you can make, you know, you can get through this. But it can be so hard to ask for help. And it's something that I'm learning to be better at. And I say this because I know there's a lot of people out there who may feel like they don't want to burden others with what they're going through. But I'm telling you right now that the worst thing you can do is not reach out to other people, is not lean on those around you who care for you. Because if they truly care for you and are truly your friends and family, they will do everything they can to push you forward. And I'm very grateful for the people in my circle. I'm very grateful for my family, my friends that have become my family. So yeah, it's a whole thing. But we still were able to, once we calmed down and once we found like a window of that, we were like, let's finish our prep. And that's exactly what we did. We finished prep and I hit 551, which moved fairly decently. Wasn't my normal technique. I just wanted to get it done. So for it to move like that, it's like, okay, that's it. Like prep's over basically. Next week's training is going to be a little bit boring more than anything. So it'll be like a peak week vlog. And we'll record also what happens at the meet. Probably do a video on my final thoughts of the prep and some of the things I've learned. But yeah, it was one of those things where I'm very grateful for the people in my circle. And I just want to relay that to all of you guys that life can suck. Life can throw a lot of curveballs at you. And life is extremely unfair in ways that really do suck. but I promise every single one of you are strong enough to put one foot in front of the other. As much as you may feel like you cannot, I know that you can. And when things get bleak, things get dark, and options seem very limited, I promise you that there is always going to be that one option of just one foot in front of the other and continuing to move forward. So, yeah. But we're good now, and we're going to keep pushing. We're going to finish what we started. We're just, whatever happens next, we're just going to keep pushing. And I'm excited to get this done, and I'm excited for the people that I'm going to be doing this with, and I'm excited to do a little bit of a vacation once I'm done, which I'll take you guys on for that. We're going to Oregon. Be awesome. And yeah, so with that being said, guys, we're almost there. Meets next weekend. And as always, hit those PRs, and I'll see you on the platform. Like, comment, and also don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe, as always. And I also just want to say I love you guys so damn much for giving me the opportunity to even make these videos. You guys honestly making these videos fun. So, as always, hit those PRs. I'll see you on the platform. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.